I clog a toilet every 15 minutes around here.
Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should, and you probably are.
Yeah.
And that's why we like you.
Mm-hmm.
This week on Chill Filtered, we're drinking a very special pour, a pour from 15 years ago. That was released 15 years ago, and it's about a 13-year-old. We're drinking Four Roses 40th anniversary limited edition single barrel, specifically barrel 17-1A from Four Roses. It's 50 warehouse 55, 52 proof or 52% alcohol, and so that's what we're drinking today. But before we get into the whiskey, before we get into anything, what's one way you can support us? Patreon.com/chillfiltered. We are still working our way up to take care of our we're not at a point where, like we've said this before, we're not at a point where we're really like making any money, but we are reinvesting into drink alongs and what that entails. So if you want to be part of a drink along, just make sure you hop on to patreon.com/chillfiltered, where you can drink along with us and we courier you your samples. So that's the business. Robby, I'm kind of out of breath. I ran upstairs right before this.
Well, this is it's a bit of a crazy episode. We were going to record yesterday.
Yeah.
And then we were switching to today, and I was all set to record, have time yesterday because my wife was like, well, I'll do one of my crock pot meals and stuff. And I was like, sweet. And actually it's the first week of school for us, and the buses actually came on time, and I got all my kids on the bus, and I could have been out the door and home by 3:20 yesterday.
Nice.
Today was not that case.
Round and round.
Yeah, today was not the case. My last bus was late, and luckily all my students were like, "I'm just calling my parents," and my parents were like, "Yeah, we'll come get you." Had they not done that, I'd still be at work.
Oh, rough. And
then the twins, and then so when we say let's stop and take a walk, I will actually be taking a walk. I got to walk down the block and get the girls off the bus. So twins started kindergarten this week, man.
Oh, how are they doing?
They're doing great with school, loving it. They have good things to say. I'm
waiting for a
but they're tired. They're tired.
Oh, totally.
So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Let them get a nap, and hopefully we kind of reset a little bit. But they're loving it. They're doing a great job, and it's really cute. It's so much fun.
It's a big deal to be in school all day.
It is. Well, yeah, and they jumped straight into it without really doing daycare. They did daycare full day, once a week for a month or so. And then we are we got to lock down before we get COVID and cancel our Mexico trip. So, it's a big deal for them. Mara started 7th grade.
Wow,
and she's looking so mature. She's a young lady for sure.
Young lady, and
I don't know, life's pretty good. It's Friday. We're on a Friday, end of the week, and I will say this: as lucky as I am to be able to have summers, I kind of like when school starts because Fridays hit different, right?
Yeah.
It just feels so different. I'm I got the weekend. Got college football starting up tomorrow. Nebraska's kicking off 10:30 tomorrow morning Mountain Standard Time in Ireland versus Northwestern. So hopefully by the time this comes out, Nebraska's undefeated.
Wow.
I'm not really holding my breath for if it's a good showing but we have a losing record, I'm not going to be too happy this year.
You should just get behind a good college or something.
Oh, really? 5 national championships isn't good enough for you?
Not in a while.
The most consecutive home sellout streak
that's
years
for sure. But
is not good enough for you.
Quality.
The collegiate football team with the highest graduating number of football players isn't good for you? Good enough?
Oh, wow. No, that's pretty good.
You jerk.
We should just who's better? Wisconsin or Nebraska?
In what regard?
Football.
Give me one metric of football. National championship, Nebraska. Heisman Trophy winners, Nebraska. All-time wins, Nebraska.
Really?
Recent wins, Wisconsin.
I don't know anything about college football. I don't even know. I couldn't name you one player in college football.
I have a hard time naming, I don't get a focus on it like I usually do. So I don't know players as well. I'm just excited it's back. You know what else? Oh, you know what else happened to me this week that was great?
What's this?
I got to hang out with a true baller.
True baller.
John Oliver He who shall not be named, Voldemort Hughes.
That's fun.
Yeah.
What day?
Yeah, so Monday.
Nice.
Yeah, he rolled in town Monday, and I was like, "That's."
Did you guys go somewhere?
Yeah, went down to Barbacoa.
Nice.
Picked him up in the old.
Any good whiskey at Barbacoa?
Van. What's that?
Any good whiskey at Barbacoa?
I had a lot of whiskey. John was just drinking like fruity drinks with like umbrellas in them. Apparently, his whole like I love whiskey thing is a sham. No. No. I think I can't remember what he had. It was a Knob Creek, I think 9-year single barrel. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed that. It was delicious. Nice. And then I got a EHT rye, which I've never had, and
it's a good one.
I was
really
disappointed in it. Yeah, I was.
It's not a candy rye. It's a full body rye, from what I remember.
It wasn't super like, and there wasn't. I mean, it just nothing hit.
They say that the
flavor profile for
rye content on the rye mash bill is pretty low. So maybe it was more like a bourbon.
Yeah. So anyway, but I'd never had it, and they had it on there, and I can't remember what John drank, but it was pretty funny though because at they do like, buy one get one free on their happy hour. Mm-hmm. It used to be every whiskey, every wine bottle. So I asked the guys like, what's the price? And he goes, $15. And I said, oh, okay. So I'll take the Knob Creek 9 single barrel. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he comes back and he goes, so that Knob Creek 9 is $16. So you can't get the buy one get free. So I had him pour you some just regular Knob Creek. And John and I are both like, no, that's not what we meant. Thank you for trying to save me a buck, but that's not what
we'll take what you poured, but we're not gonna pay for that. Yeah.
No, we got some of the tableside guac, which was delicious.
Nice.
And I get to go there again this Saturday. You know why?
Because it is Chelsea's birthday.
Nope, because I left my credit card there.
Nice.
So I stopped to get gas on the way home. I'm like, better call and make sure it's there. So that was it. So anyway, there's my week in a nutshell. This is me in a nutshell. Oh no, I'm stuck in a nutshell. What is that from? Is that Austin Powers?
Couldn't tell you.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I remember going there last time we went there, and I got some seasoned wood. Or no, yeah, some seasoned wood. And then I got a whiskey. And
don't laugh
it was delicious.
Rude.
Yes.
So we were at a training this week, and the person that was facilitating this training was talking about like a personality inventory thing. Mm-hmm. And one of the areas you get scored in is like, I can't remember the word for it, but it starts with a D. And he's like, now, if you're a D, and like he just kept saying, like, if you're a D and you need to see a D, you need to say this to it. And I was like, I was in the back.
You're like, keep it to yourself, Robbie.
There are a couple folks I know.
You're like, keep it to yourself, dead low.
Shut up, guys! Don't like. If we break the dam on this one, we can't get these waters back. And
yeah, that's for sure.
I'll have HR all up in me.
Yeah,
on me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, how you doing, man? How's your week been?
It's been good. I survived. No, that was it. I already survived that. We recorded last Sunday, so I did well with Beck this week or the weekend where I was watching her alone.
Yeah,
which was awesome. And then, I'm trying to think. There was one thing I wanted to bring up. I'm forgetting now. But yeah, it was a good week. This week,
man. See, this is where vintage Cole would have come in handy, where you had notes about your week.
Where I was like, talk about this Cole. But I had something and then I lost it. But either way,
I'll tell you what you lost. You kind of lost your beard. You kind of just got.
It's like, it did. I trimmed it down. Yeah.
You kind of got like mostly goatee with some. It's like goatee wings.
Yeah.
You trimmed a lot.
Flapping those wings. Yeah.
Did a fly just fly by your mic?
No, did it?
I
don't think so.
Okay.
Did you hear something?
I heard a zzz.
Oh, weird. It might have been my beard touching the mic or something. But it's just been good. Work's been pretty chill. But it's been fun with Beck. Beck's just talking it up, walking it up, having a good old time. And it's just been like chill. I have like nothing to add this week, but
all right.
I did. Let me think. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm entry buzzing. Maybe that'll
jog the old man.
Yeah. So shout out to my friend Daniel Elliott, who got me a sample of Four Roses barrel proof or a single barrel strength of OBSF. So I'm excited to
Which is
be
short
drinking
for,
that
if
now.
you've listened to previous episodes, OBSF stands for Oh Boy San Francisco.
Yep, you would know that if you listened to our prior episodes talking about Four Roses. So, but I'm excited to drink what we're drinking today. I actually got some great history.
Perfect.
So I don't know. Should we?
Don't force it, man.
Should we? Yeah, should we get into it?
You had a boring week. Don't force the fun. Don't force the
no fun here
on this man bun.
Yeah, there's no fun in this man bun.
Would you ever have a man bun? If you have hair, so you could grow it longer. And
my hair is like very curly too. So
could you get away with long hair in your field?
What's that?
Could you get away with long hair at work?
I could, yeah. No, I could probably wear like gauges at work.
So you would never do man bun.
No, I don't like growing my hair out. It gets too curly, too messy.
I think I could do a man bun just because like the thin part would be covered by the hair from the back and the sides, and it might look all right.
Yeah, it's like a comb over, but like the opposite of a comb over. Just pull it all to one section. In the
bun
back.
Under. A bun over.
A comb or a bun right over the area that's thinning.
So here's the thing:
people will be drawn to that instead of a lack of hair.
I remember when like man buns were a thing, and I was like,
I feel like you could have rocked a man bun.
If I was born 10 years later, I might have gone for it. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't see why. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you ever had long hair?
Long-ish, like emo-y hair.
Yeah. I've seen your emo-y hair.
Yeah. So
at least in pictures.
If I had a full, like, knowing now,
if
I knew now if I knew then what I knew now, I'd be like, it's going away, brother. I would have been like full locks.
You ever consider like trimming it really short, all of it?
That Chelsea has her finger on that trigger. I told her,
really?
Tell me, yeah. I was like, to me, like, honestly, I'm at a point. I drive a minivan, right? Like my pride. I've been driving a minivan for 10 years now. Like I have no pride in my appearance.
There's none left.
Right?
No dignity.
So it's one of the things that I told Chelsea. I'm like, at some point, you're the one that's got to look at me. You let me know when that trigger is pulled and it is short and shorn.
Is she hesitant?
She says I look fine. She's either nice or hesitant. Yeah.
I brought it up to Heather one time. I was like, what if I just like trimmed it like buzzer setting and just did the beard? And she didn't like that at all.
Yeah. I think when Chelsea gets older, she'll be, because that's like, she's younger than me. So she's like that's an old man, a cool old man's haircut.
Yeah.
Right?
You're a cool old man. 40 something.
Not that
man.
Old. 42, man.
Yeah.
But
so I thought you were born in 79.
81.
Okay. So
no, I mean you had the one away from 80, which is you're one off instead of the two off, which is the kind of rounding we did with Connor from Who Gives a Dram. But during like COVID wise, I was like, Chelsea, we're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything like in March 2020. I was like, why don't you just shave it and we'll see how it looks? And she was like, no, I don't want you. I'm like, oh, okay. Nice. So I'm not doing that. All right, man.
Yeah.
Any other hairstyles you want to talk about?
I wish I could just do a mustache.
Heather won't let you.
I got a coworker in the actuarial department who just rocks a mustache and a mullet. And I don't think I'd go the mullet route, but I just kind of want a mustache, and Heather won't let me. Yeah.
I always do the mustache, like when it's like beard is out of control and I'm just kind of tired of it. Like beginning of summer heat, I'll go for the mustache. And I don't like having it too much. Like the mustache is the worst part of the beard.
Really?
It's the yogurt. You get
like crumbs in it. Yeah, yogurt. Yeah, I did that this morning.
It's the lip tickler. It's it's the worst part of the
crumb
mustache.
Catcher from the top. Now, when you're eating food upside down.
Is it the funniest part of the beard? Absolutely. Part, and I like to do it for a laugh. But then I cry myself to sleep because I realize I have the worst part of the mustache left. Or beard. Oh. Yeah.
Hey, at least you got a mustache. You know what would be rough? If you were losing your hair.
And you couldn't grow a beard?
And you couldn't grow a beard.
Exactly.
You should do one of those transplants, pull them from your stash, stick them up on your forehead.
Stick them up there. My
that's
like go-to joke when someone makes like, oh, you got such a thick beard, I'll be like, it migrated from the top of my head. And then if I know them really well, I'll say, you don't want to know where it's going next. So
yeah, that's good. Well, I feel like we're at a good point. Nothing too much.
We don't have highs. We had a low. We got back to a high.
Tale of camaraderie and betrayal.
Classic chill filtered.
So let's go to break. We'll go for a little walk. We'll come on back and we'll talk about Four Roses. We'll talk about Jim Rutledge. And we'll talk about the 40th anniversary bottle. So here we go to break. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back.
We're back again.
Yeah, we did start recording probably for a good 4 minutes that we were recording without pressing the record button. But Robby picked up his little daughters at the bus stop. Is that right?
The bus stop just down the block.
Love it.
Slurred
right
my
near
way there.
The what's it called?
The neighborhood pool?
Yeah, the neighborhood pool.
Yeah. Yep. Picked him up.
Cool.
Came off the bus.
You're like, hey, you kids.
Hey guys, get off that darn bus. Dad's got to drink his whiskey.
Yeah, get home so I can drink with my friends. Yeah. But quick shout out before we get into history this week to Brandon Hunt of Bourbon Charity, not the Bourbon Charity like the Ohio State University, but Bourbon Charity. If you're not familiar with Bourbon Charity, I encourage you to check them out. They are raising 100% funds for other charities, and they are not taking a cent themselves out of what is raised from these fundraisers. So check them out. Great stuff they're doing. Their most recent fundraiser that is actually going on as we speak and as we are being published this week is for the Support Our Troops fundraiser, where they're supporting charities like Fisher House, Folds of Honor, charities that really support veterans, troops, and their families. Which I think is a great cause. So check them out, Bourbon Charity, bourboncharity.com. They also have a nice Instagram page where they're raising money. And I'll tell you this, I've been running the numbers for them. I'm kind of their data stats guy. And you have a good chance of winning at least one of the prizes if you put in like $100. So do that if you can. Win some goodies. Tell your friends. And that's all I got. But thank you, Brandon. Brandon is, I don't know if I said this, Brandon gave the pour we're drinking today. Because he's got a killer collection at home, and he's a very generous man. So shout out to Brandon Hunt. What a dude. What he is doing is legit and amazing. So let's get into what we're drinking today. We are drinking Four Roses 40th Anniversary Limited Edition from Four Roses Distillery. This is not our first Four Roses product on the podcast. Our first episode with them was episode 38. Where we drank a single barrel strength OESQ bottle. Then episode 102, we drank the small batch select. And episode 187 was OESF, single barrel strength. And episode 208 from Brian Rapp, we were drinking the 2021 Four Roses small batch limited edition. So we covered a lot. And I'm going to talk over basic details of the distillery. And then we're just going to talk about Jim Rutledge, who this bottle is honoring. And let's talk about Four Roses Distillery. So the distillery is in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, which I knew that it was in Lawrenceburg, but I actually didn't know where in Kentucky that was. And apparently it's about 30-minute drive south of Frankfort. And for those who don't know, Frankfort is pretty much right between Louisville on the east or on the west and Lexington on the east.
It's a suburb of Franck and beans.
Yeah, exactly.
Franck.
And Bush's baked beans. I think we just had a Bush's baked beans moment right there.
I think it was.
But it could have been better. So we'll aim for another one. So one story, according to history, is that the brand / distillery was started by a guy named Rufus Mathewson Rose, and his brother Origin Rose, and each of them had a son, so there were 4 Roses. But according to the company that owns them, which is Kirin Brewing, which is a Japanese brewing company, The beginnings of Four Roses brand started with a guy named Paul Jones Jr., not John Paul Jones Jr., John Paul Jones Jr., in 1888, who may have been, JP or PJJ.
Paul John. What's his name? Is it John Paul or Paul John?
This guy's name is Paul Jones Jr.
Oh, PJJ.
So,
okay.
PJJ. The distillery used to be called the Old Prentice Distillery, and it was originally owned by J.T.S. Brown, brother of George Garvin Brown, who was kind of the guy behind Old Forester. And he was actually his half-brother. J.T.S. Brown was his half-brother. So in 1943, Seagram's bought out the distillery and actually started basically discontinuing the Four Roses brand in the 50s. And then the brand actually was reintroduced as a straight bourbon in 1994. And let's talk about that transition a little bit. Let's talk about Jim Rutledge, the previous master distiller of Four Roses. Now, Jim Rutledge started with Seagram's in 1966. That's a long time.
It is.
And that was in apparently the Louisville Research and Development plant that Seagram's had. And before becoming a master distiller in 1994, he was head of their industrial engineering and budgets department or whatever. And he was the driving force behind Four Roses being reintroduced as a brand, which I thought was pretty cool. And he made sure it was like happening, and made sure that, you know, what Four Roses is today was really due to him. Anyway, he really brought credibility to the Four Roses brand again, and eventually retired from Four Roses in 2015. And he handed off the reins to a great master distiller named Brent Elliott. He still makes whiskey though, Jim. He's behind a few brands, including one with his name on it, and that's J.W. Rutledge Distillery, which I think he's building up his aging warehouses now, basically. But he had a hand in things like Blue Run, the Blue Run whiskey that we did. We mentioned that on the episode. Jim Rutledge was behind, and I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, what we're drinking today, there's a lot of notes on what we're actually drinking today, which I think is pretty cool. This bottle was to celebrate Jim Rutledge's 40 years at that point at Four Roses. Technically not with Four Roses per se, but with the distillery that now calls itself Four Roses. Because like mentioned earlier, the brand and, you know, the name came back in 1994 after a long hiatus. So not only is this release rare and special, what we're drinking is actually a single barrel. And I'll get to that in a moment, but it was done in 2007, which was technically a little over 40 years. It's about 41, but they were celebrating. So not to be confused with the small batch limited editions that we've tried, but that also started coming out in 2016. This is a different limited edition. This is the 40th anniversary limited edition. Specifically from Warehouse 55 is what we're drinking. Barrel 17-1A. And it's a cask strength at 104 proof. Apparently, it is a OESO single barrel, meaning it is mash bill E and O yeast strain. Mash bill E is 75% corn, 20% rye, and 5% malted barley. And yeast strain O is known for its rich fruit notes. OESO in general are noted by Four Roses on their website as having rich fruit and vanilla notes.
Yeah.
Non-chill filtered.
Hey, that's not the name of the podcast.
That's right. Apparently only a few barrels. I saw at least 4, I think, online. And there was only 1,442 bottles released of this release, which is very small amount.
Mm-hmm. Especially for a distillery of that size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And there is no age statement, although we pretty much know it's around 13 and a half years. And if you do the math, that's right about when Four Roses was restarted as a brand in 1994. So right about when it was restarted, they were setting aside those barrels for his 40th
from
anniversary.
1994.
Yep. So
Seattle Supersonics were still in Seattle.
Yeah, and
Charles Barkley was in
4
Phoenix.
years old.
Nebraska had just won a national championship.
Wow.
And on their way to another.
And the Smashing Pumpkins just released Siamese Dream. Mm-hmm. What is it? Weezer, I think, released the Blue Album in 94.
94 and 95 would be right in that ballpark.
And what's his name just killed himself? Or potentially, depending on who you ask. Kurt Cobain was 94, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think it was 94.
Wasn't there a Woodstock 94 or was that 95?
There was a Woodstock 94. Mm-hmm.
Which was amazing. I remember watching. That Kurt Cobain had killed himself that year because I remember watching it that summer.
Dude, you're old.
And then happened.
Wait, you were like 14 or no? You were 13.
The Offspring had released
Smash?
That one album, Smash. Yeah,
dude, Smash. I listened to that through the other day. Great album.
You know, it's too bad they went the direction they went in their careers later on because it was like I get
that
it.
Was so good. Smash was like an incredible album, and it did go a different direction. Yeah, almost like a sellout. But I'm not gonna say it.
Well, here's what they did in 90 in like what was it? It was 1998 and they released that Pretty Fly for a White Guy. And I think they're like, dude, I think almost guarantee it was like we have to have another record for some contractual reason. So let's kind of sell out on it, raise some money, but sell out in a way that's not really selling out.
Yeah, and they know what we're doing. Fully sell out, like But I'll tell you what, Self-Esteem, Gotta Get Away.
The whole album, every song I could.
What is it?
It's time to relax.
Nitrous. What is it?
And you know what that means.
Yeah.
A glass of wine, your favorite easy chair, and of course, this compact disc on your home stereo. So go on, sit back, relax, indulge yourself, and listen to these soothing sounds. I remember that album very vividly. Yeah.
I mean,
but you know
honestly,
what? You know what?
Great album.
Okay. Speaking of selling out, you know what else sold out?
What's that?
Pretty sure every bottle of this Four Roses 40th anniversary bottle.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
So anyway,
so 1994
total wine price in 20 this I think I mentioned this. It was released in 2013.
Seven?
So this is 15 years old that it was bottled. And this I was still in high school when this was bottled. So I saw that some people bought it for around 50 to 80 range. But I seen it go as high as 1,500 on the secondary at this moment because it's a special edition and there's only 1442 bottles. So let's drink this.
1442.
Yeah, the year that
Columbus had
Jonah swam the ocean blue. Yeah,
we both went to Ocean Blue after that. That's some synchronicity there. Yep. I don't have a Glencairn handy, so you know what?
Well, I'll talk about the color while you go get
I'm not going to worry. No, dude, I'm not going to worry about it. In 2007 I would have owned a Glencairn? No, I did not. So I'm going to drink 2007 version, and I'm drinking out of a red Solo cup. So there you go.
Fill me up. I have a good feeling about this one. I saw some good notes. I didn't read into them too much, but I saw some good, people were like, it was good.
Okay, so here's the problem. I came home straight from work. I wear Chuck Taylors at work because I just wear Chuck Taylors pretty much all the time. That's my go-to. Chuck Taylors can get you a little swampy. I got some foot odor here, so I'm hoping to
point your feet away from this whiskey.
Point your feet away from the mic.
From the mic.
Don't want to give any bad vibes to anybody. So safe to say, no one else is drinking this with us. Except
Probably
for
not.
one of those few people that was like, I wonder if there's anything to find.
I'm going to pull out that bottle
in the future.
Yeah. Ooh, I love your Stoltzy or whatever glasses. The ones I got.
Yeah, you betcha.
Those are great whiskey sour cup or glasses.
They are. Mara unloaded the dishwasher after our last party and just put them all on my desk. So this is what was handy.
Nice.
Because these are a great party glass for making cocktails.
So it's hard for me to stop buying. Another piece of news. Yeah, it's hard for me to stop buying nice glasses for whiskey. And even I bought some nice wine glasses the other day that were specifically Burgundy style glasses.
Yeah. And
I haven't sipped from them yet, but they look really fancy. And so I told you I broke one of my Glencairn, my Waterfords the other day.
Yeah.
Like a month or two ago. I found it online, like and it took me like months to search eBay and Etsy for the exact same style. I found one. It was like $65, but I'm like, I'm getting it because it's better to have 2 of these than have one. So I was very excited to see that.
That is nice, but you could have just had the one be the chosen one, and that's the one.
No, you gotta have 2. I don't know. There's just something about it.
Nose wise, this is pretty light.
It's light, but it's also it's not a bad thing, but it's got a little funk to it. It's okay,
so it's not just my feet, not just my feet. I aim my feet from the mic,
but it's not a bad funk. Like it's just I want to just say it's a little musty because it's old, but I might be wrong. But yeah, it's kind of light.
If not funk, maybe a little earthiness
vanilla
to it.
A little.
But there is vanilla. There's a slight vanilla, but it's and then also just like a light. It's just a really light bourbon-y smell.
Yeah, especially for a 104 proof. Yeah, 104 proof. It's lighter than you'd expect. So you just took a sip. I'm gonna go for one.
You know, viscosity-wise, it's really light too. Like this is going down like it could be water with a hint of bourbon to it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the viscosity-wise.
Yeah.
Flavor-wise, initial sip, it's not robust. It's kind of chill.
It is.
Uh-huh. Out of what?
The toilet. It got plugged.
Okay. Hey, leave it. B-roll right here. Leave the toilet alone. Close the lid. Use the toilets upstairs. I'll fix it when we get done.
Gosh. And let it be known on the interwebs or on the nationwide that someone clogged a toilet.
I'll tell you who it was. Moose pooped in the house today when we were gone. And every time I pick a moose poop up and put it in the toilet, it clogs, man.
It was Moose? Oh, that dog.
It was that dirty dog. All right.
Dirty dog. All right.
Gosh dang it. Sorry. I'm like,
you're good.
No. And she's like, it's an emergency. It's not an emergency.
Nah, yeah, there's plenty of other
I clog a toilet every 15 minutes around here.
Should we pick back up or should we just roll?
Let's just roll with it. Sorry, folks. You know what? There's a little candid inside.
Yeah. Now you know what it's like to live in the dead.
Some podcasts would put that as special content. You know, sign up for our $1 billion Patreon tier, and you can listen to Robby talk about toilets.
Every man,
with any man who's got a podcast platform,
can't find any man.
The dog did poop, the man did flush. He clogged the toilet man. Anyway,
I got into Pearl Jam while I was in Boise the first time. I bought the 10 album and really dug into their stuff when I was first in Boise.
Liked Pearl Jam, and then I had some roommates in college that played it nonstop and killed it for me.
Yeah,
and then I revisited it, and now I think back fondly of those days where they killed it. I'm like, I miss those guys. Nick and Quinn. Love them.
Shout out to Nick and Quinn.
Yeah.
Heather really likes Pearl Jam. I was like, I asked her, what's a song you would love if you had a lot of skill to sing, what would you want to cover? And she said Daughter by Pearl Jam.
Gotcha.
That's kind of cool.
I saw them in Seattle. I can't remember who opened for. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name. Classic Seattle band, Screaming Trees. Screaming Trees opened for them, and I was in the furthest away nosebleed seat at the old Key Arena, and could still tell Mike McCready. But that was 2004. So it was a while
R.I.P.
ago.
Mike McCready.
That was before this whiskey was bottled that we're drinking.
Yeah.
No, Mike McCready's still alive.
Wait, who's the guy? The Screaming Trees guy?
Oh, I don't know about Screaming Trees. I'm talking Mike McCready's from Pearl Jam.
Oh, that's right.
He's a lead guitarist.
No, the Screaming Trees guy died.
Did he?
I think. Yeah. Recently, this year, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
So I'm not blown away by this.
No. I'm blown away by the fact that it's hard to get rare, and I am lucky enough to drink it. But if you hand this just a standard, I would I wouldn't say I prefer it to their standard. I would say I would prefer Four Roses single barrel to this.
I would prefer their small batch select,
even small batch select. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a part where it just drops flat.
Ooh.
It's got a sweetness. It's got some oak, but then it just like dies.
Okay, so nose is opened up a little bit more, and I get it's kind of butterscotchy.
I can get behind a little bit of butterscotch, especially on the finish for me. But it's kind of just dying a little bit, which I don't love about it.
There's nothing great about it. It's other than the story, where it's at, the age or whatever. But
2 turntables and a microphone.
That's where it's at. There's a little destination. There's a destination
a little up the road from a habitation. Towns, or something.
Place we saw.
The lights turn.
The Get Fresh
Jigsaw.
Jazz.
Get Fresh flow.
There we go. Turning out
dimes, jamboree handouts, 2 turntables and a microphone.
So
bottles and cans. Just clap your hands. Just clap your hands.
Where it's at. This is the worst recording you ever heard. No. What's going on?
People love us.
We've lost control of the Chill Filtered podcast.
Well, we've had a lot of 90s references today. So
we have.
Yeah. That was Odelay, I believe.
Oh my goodness. This is a Hubba to What whiskey. It takes you back to the 90s.
Yeah, that's true. It was distilled in the 90s. Oh my
goodness.
It's just what it is. Hubba to What.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to get married. Well, I am married. What's going on here?
So, really, I think a better nose with some water in it after a little swirly poo.
I don't know. I'm not, after my second round of sniffing was better than this with the neat. I don't know. It's still kind of died for me. And I can't imagine the water is going to make it any better because maybe because it's a little bit higher proof. Maybe it brings it down a little bit and makes it better, but I can't imagine it's going to be better than neat.
I'll tell you one thing about this one. When I opened it with Brandon, the cork fell apart, and we straightened it out.
It was like Thanos snapped his fingers and just
it just faded into non-existence. I don't know if I like it better with ice.
Water. I think I do.
You do?
I like a little better with the water.
I get a little bit of bitterness.
It kind of does what when water does is it'll make the heat show up a little bit, right? And so the heat showed up, so I'm getting something from it.
Yeah.
Right. This is like neat was like you're watching ER and it's boop, boop, boop.
Or you're watching 24 and it's like doot.
Yeah, it's commercial break. But then guess what? The commercial break doesn't come back for. It's just boo.
Yeah, a little flat line.
And then all of a sudden I added water to it. It was like bloop. And I was like, whoa, what was that? It was hot again. I liked it. But I mean, if that's the best thing about a whiskey where you're like, oh, it got hot for a second.
Yeah.
Then it's,
I'm not going to say it's bad. It's just nothing special so far.
Yeah. I can tell you one thing. Maybe when I poured it, I wish it would have been a little bit taller.
Wish I was a baller.
I wish it was a rabbit in a hat. Oh, wait. Was that a 90s reference?
Is it?
Oh, yeah. It is. Skilo, man.
Okay.
That came
wish
out
I had a girl who looked good. I would call her.
Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" Impala. That's about the same time as Dangerous Minds came out with Michelle Pfeffer. Right?
That white gold.
And like Skilo was kind of cashing in commercially on the what's his name that sang "We spend most our lives living in the gangster paradise."
Coolio.
He was kind of cashing in on that Coolio thing.
Yeah,
like he may have had it first, but like record company was like, "You're kind of like Coolio in a way." So this is what I thought back then.
Yeah. Man, good times those 90s.
Man, well, that's the thing. Is like one thing I miss about the 90s is I'm going to sound very geriatric millennial here. I miss when MTV had music videos. Like I can remember as a kid and I guess YouTube. These kids with their YouTubes, like they can do that now and just watch whatever they want. But I just remember like I got stuck watching stuff like. I don't know how many times I got stuck watching Sheryl Crow's "I'm Gonna Soak Up the Sun" because I was like, can it please be a song I like after this? You know what I mean? So
I was you like Sheryl Crow?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't like show.
No.
But have you watched the new, not newer, it's new-ish, Netflix documentary on the Woodstock 99?
I watched a synopsis of it actually on Watch Mojo, and it was pretty interesting.
There's also a podcast that I was listening to a couple years ago called Woodstock 99, and they went through every pay-per-view episode of every
with
artist.
Like what's the band? Limp Bizkit, and like potentially like them like really ruining everything. And
yeah, but Sheryl Crow was actually pretty cool on it. She was
she was in that.
She was one of the first acts. Nice. She was kind of like, people were like, it was like the gauge for the misogyny and the attacks and the sexualization of the whole thing. That she was like, she like had a good rapport with the crowd, back and forth. It was like
nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Just kind of knock it off.
What was one of your favorite? What is like one of the greatest things of the 90s? Not for you, but for the world.
Greatest thing from the 90s for the world. Y2K. We were all so scared.
The end of the 90s.
So scared. No. Yeah. Greatest thing of the 90s.
Like, you talked about Smash. Like, what would be like one of those rock, like not even just rock, but like just something that changed the world?
You know what? I think
the 90s.
Couple things. First, I want to say just the idea of grunge rock.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're getting back to the more punk route. And without grunge, I don't think I ever would have fallen in love with a lot of punk bands.
Nice.
And also just kind of changed the direction of music in general. The second thing I think it was big in the 90s was the whole Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky thing, because I feel like that really changed political discourse. People probably for the worst. Yeah. But for the worst, right? Like that's kind of the era, like the era we live in politics now.
No one trusts anyone.
Would be like is tame, like it would be like outrageous in the 90s.
Oh my
like,
goodness!
I think the Monica Lewinsky thing like really just screwed everything up for everybody for the worst.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Hey, future presidents that are listening to the Chill Filter podcast.
Yep, we know you're out
just
there.
Keep it behind closed doors and keep cell phones out of the way.
Yep.
Because you know what? I'm just saying, like, I don't want scandal. I just like previous to that, it was like scandal was just kind of hidden, right?
Yeah.
Like, I no doubt previous presidents are doing awful stuff because you know what? People like to abuse their power. Speaking of which, you Patreon listeners listen right now. I can't wait to know.
Speaking of no doubt, Tragic Kingdom was a great moment of the
1996.
So,
Yeah. Anyway.
And I'm going to also mention 1996 because I honestly think that Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness was one of the greatest rock moments of the 1990s.
That was a double wide
disc. CD, or it was a double CD. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was huge. But you know what? Siamese Dream.
Great album.
Favorite. Siamese
Dream.
I love Siamese Dream.
Have you listened to the whole album?
Siamese Dream?
Sure you have. Yeah.
From front to back, like probably.
Space Boy, man. I like In the Arms of Sleep. Or no,
I don't remember the names of it because I was
might have actually been In the Arms of Sleep might have been Melancholy. I think it was Siamese Dream though. But yeah, Space Boy, Disarm. Disarm is great.
Dude, the whole album is just phenomenal.
Both albums, and like that's the thing for me is like I was 4 and 6 when Siamese Dream and Melancholy and Infinite Sadness came out. But let me tell you this. Looking back at that time, normally you don't expect someone to outdo a fantastic album like Siamese Dream. But for me, I think Melancholy blew it out of the water.
Who produced Melancholy?
I think that was a Rick Rubin.
Was it Rick Rubin?
It might have been.
Butch Vig. I think
Butch Vig was on it. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a Butch Vig.
Did he do Siamese Dream too?
I think he definitely did.
I think he did Siamese Dream. Because my personal thoughts is that Melancholy was a little more overproduced and cash in on the commercial success. And I feel like had they kind of stayed with like the Siamese Dream, like if they never would have gotten big, I would have loved to seen what they would have come out with after that. Mm-hmm. That being said, still great stuff.
Yeah.
But
what? Oh, So yeah, Butch Vig was not on Melancholy. It was Billy Corgan produced it with Flood and Alan Moulder.
That says enough right there. Butch Vig was Siamese though, right?
Yeah, he was. He definitely was.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem. That's
Yeah.
the beginning, the impetus of Billy Corgan being Billy Corgan.
No, I believe it actually. Because he changed after that a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was like the whole Zero shirt and he shaved his head stuff, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it is when he shaved his head. Yeah.
He should have been married to my wife. And she'd have been like, don't shave your head.
Yeah.
All right. So, folks, listen.
Anyway, we have to drink our ice pour.
I already started. It's okay. This is what happens when you drink a subpar whiskey. Only subpar in the sense of...
I think this is the best pour.
I think so, too.
Okay.
But this is what happens when the whiskey ain't... That, or we started with an entry buzz and we had time where I took a walk for the entry buzz to enter our system, and now we're just two good homies with the microphones.
That's us. That's where it's at.
We buzzed up.
What are some notes you get off of the ice pour? Because I'm getting a lot more sweetness. The oak is there, but it's faded into the sweetness.
I'm more oak than sweet, but it's a little more oaky. You know, when you're reading your history and stuff, like you mentioned like vanilla, and I was like, oh crud, I'm not gonna like this because it's gonna be overly vanillaed. Vanilla is, I would say, it's oaky vanilla with an overall sweetness, but I think the vanilla for me is right on the cusp where I'm like, if it was a little more vanilla, if I couldn't get other notes besides that, I'm out.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I am a little underwhelmed.
But
I'll tell you what, it's cool to drink a bottle that's 15 years old and was distilled when I was 4 years old. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some ratings? I'm ready.
I am ready. Give me like a hot moment.
Okay, I'll go first. If I rate this bottle on what it is, the history behind it, the times when it was distilled, the times when it was bottled, the amount of barrels, I do that. This is a solid 10. It'd be a first. If it was just based on that, it'd be a solid 10 for me. Or 9.999999, right? Because you don't want to give away the 10.
You don't always give away the 10.
You don't want to give it away. That being said, for what it actually is, I'm gonna go 6.1.
Nice.
It just falls flat. It's okay. It's okay. And that's the thing is like I would prefer pretty much any standard bottle before this because at least you get a little bit of kick of alcohol. You feel like you're drinking like, whoa, put a little hair on your chest, right? Like this, I'm like, I would. This is my first Sony. No, this is my first baby's first whiskey. Like, don't give your children whiskey. It's not good.
No,
but just saying. Yeah, if this was 1940s when Seagram's 53, maybe that happened when Seagram's bought. I don't know. Don't quote me on the date. Cole's looking now like it matters.
43.
43. Yeah, 40.
That?
I bet in 43 you could get away with giving your kid whiskey.
Yeah. Just rub it on the gums. I am also going on the low end, at least for I didn't not enjoy this, but I didn't really enjoy this. Like it wasn't bad, but it didn't do much for me. So I'm going to give it a 7.2. And that's kind of what I had.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not bad. I feel like when I get in the 6 range, it's starting to get bad. This isn't bad. It's just nothing special to me.
See, to me, a 6 range is like it's above bad. 5's bad.
Okay.
Right. At least that's and if you are someone who's listening sequentially through these, and I misquoted myself just now, maybe not, but I think like 5's kind of where it's like, I think sub 6 is where it's bad. Yeah, that's why I gave it 6.1 because it's just above.
Totally.
Like really, honestly, you're just one bitter or weird note away on this being like, well, I don't want it at all.
And it very well might be that it's a 15-year-old bottle that it's not that
now,
great.
That being said,
oxidized a little bit with
that Dusty that we had earlier this year that you got from your buddy.
True, 100-year-old
whiskey.
It. Yeah, but I loved it.
So maybe I just don't like old Dusties.
Yeah. So whatevs. So I got a 7.2. You got a 6.1.
Yep. There we go.
Sounds good. Why don't we move over to our next segment of the show that we like to call Whiskey World News?
And we're back. Part of the show where we read an article and we talk about it. And you know what? We didn't write it. We're just going to read it. And I hate to do it, but we're going to get to the little dead low downer here. I hate to say this, but this title of this article comes from Whiskey Raiders. It's written by Madison Kopta. So how many calories are in the whiskey? The answer
Don't worry about it.
May surprise you. Is that clickbait? I don't know. Here we go. When it comes to counting calories, most of us know that alcohol isn't always the best option. Cutting out beer, for example, is often a key to weight loss. But what about whiskey? How many calories does whiskey have? Is it bad for you as bad for you as other types of alcohol? Well, whiskey does have calories. It's not as bad for you as other types of alcohol. In fact, whiskey has fewer calories per serving than beer and even wine.
Amen.
When it comes to calorie counting, whiskey is actually one of the better options. In fact, it's healthy for you, and you will be better looking if... No, that's not.
Yeah.
How many calories are in whiskey? Spirits are often associated with high calorie counts and adverse health effects, but this is primarily due to the mixtures that sometimes accompany them. In reality, whiskey consumed without additional mixtures will have minuscule amounts of carbs and zero fat or protein. After distillation and filtration, alcohol is all that's left, along with water and the congeners. Do you know that word? Congeners?
I don't know.
Congeners, which give whiskey its aroma and taste. Most of the calories in the whiskey come from alcohol content. Thus, the calories increase with the strength of the bottle, depending on its ABV. Well, the average 1.5 ounce glass of whiskey is around 105 calories. Not every whiskey is the same. For instance, 140 proof whiskey will have considerably more calories than 80 proof bottling.
Makes
so
sense.
In general, stronger whiskeys will have more calories. However, regardless of all the proof, all whiskeys contain a fairly low number of calories per ounce. So it is ultimately up to the individual to decide how many calories they want to consume. At the end of the day, whiskey is a solid choice. If you're looking to reduce your caloric intake, just be sure to drink whiskey responsibly in moderation. As always, consult with your doctor before making any changes to your diet or whiskey alcohol consumption. Cool. Did I just blow your mind with all my whiskey facts?
And it reminded me that I'm starting my diet on Monday. I'm pretty much on a high score, and I just got to get back into it. So
kill it, Cole.
Yeah,
I am trending right now. I'm trending down.
Trending down, nice.
I'm trending down. Yep.
You look good.
I don't look good.
You feel good.
I feel really good right now, man. That entry buzz did wonders.
Exactly. What did you entry buzz on?
I just finished up my 10 cup.
Nice. The whole bottle? Nice.
Yeah, one whole bottle.
Not a half bottle left.
No, I had probably an ounce and a half to two, maybe 2 ounces of it.
Wait, but how much is left of your bottle?
My bottle's gone now.
Oh, that's what you said. Yeah,
I finished it. Yeah,
that's good. Good for you. Good for.
We had friends over. 10. It was low when we recorded it, so that's what I did. But
nice. No, that's good. What do you think?
No, I think it's one of those things where it's like, the problem with calories in whiskey is, sometimes it goes down way too easy.
Yeah,
that's a problem. I think the biggest problem with calories in whiskey is it's a gateway drug to Skittles.
Yeah.
It lowers your inhibitions.
You want to avoid the Skittles. Yeah.
You're like, no, I can have handful after handful of Skittles because I just drank whiskey, and that's the problem.
Then you just
pretty soon you're butt chugging Skittles.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we went different directions there. Yeah. So no, I don't know. I just thought that was a whiskey world news type thing that we never talked about. So that's why I picked it.
I like that. No, that's great. That's good. Yeah. No, I really actually did like that. And it reminds me of my diet starting Monday. So buy it starting Monday. Let's move over to our next segment of the show that we like to call What Whiskey Would You Choose? Let's go over last week's results. I think we had some great results last week.
We got a lot of good. And I feel
amazing.
Yeah. And I feel like that's maybe a direction we should go more often.
Yes, that's why we're doing it this week. Yeah.
No, we're not doing the same thing. Cole,
we're doing something separate, but close. Yeah.
Leave a little to the imagination. Who knows what's coming up next?
Nothing.
Last week last week I was thinking last year. Last week we said, what's the best bourbon you've had this month? So there's some qualifiers. Like you're listening to the podcast, you drink a lot of whiskey, various amounts here and there, various
copious
bottles.
Amounts there here and there.
But we said, and Cole said the best whiskey he had last month was Bowman Cask Strength, A. Smith Bowman Cask Strength. I just said Blanton's, and you did win 75% to 20%. One of our biggest turnouts on it. So there you go.
Seriously.
Great write-ins. Brian Rapp, Elijah Craig, barrel proof Trevor store pick. Hey,
nice.
Trevor.
Store
Shout
pick.
out to Trev. Hey,
Trev.
Miles Ferguson killed the 518. Said E.H. Taylor single barrel. Finally opened it after snagging one in Virginia.
Yeah. He got a
Ben
nice
Klepsig, our Madtown marketer, went with E.H. Taylor small batch as well. No, he went small batch. Oh, Miles got a single barrel. I just got a single barrel.
That's right.
Nice. Joel 909, new Wild Turkey 12-year 101.
Joel,
I haven't seen that.
It's good to hear from you.
Is that tricky to get?
Wait, Wild Turkey what?
Wild Turkey 12-year 101?
I've never even heard of that. It might be a Tasmania thing only.
Okay. Our newest
Joel.
Patreon supporter.
We love you, Joel. Yeah.
DJ Rockefeller 1981.
Hey-o.
David Rockefeller. Elmer T. Lee.
Nice.
The Bourbon Badger, Caleb Olson himself.
Yeah, what a baller. Give me a freaking moment.
OG.
He gets a few flicks.
Cole was, if you're watching YouTube, you can see how Cole was struggling to flick that thing there.
Yeah.
He went with New Riff.
Or the Waterford.
Balboa
There
Rye.
we go.
Oh, there it was much better. So Balboa Rye, does that count as a bourbon? I don't know.
No, but
Okay.
I'll give it to Caleb. He'll allow it.
Caleb can do what he's wanted. Carte blanche. There you go.
What a freaking baller. He can do whatever he wants.
Bro, Tascanaskanos, our Canadian turtle friend.
Canadian
Redwood
turtle
Empire
friend.
Pipe Dream tastes like
Nice.
the only Redwood bourbon should taste like. And I think that's like a
Nice.
good description of a good bourbon.
Send us some Broesca Tusquanosa.
Yeah. Help your brothers out.
Help some brothers out. The
Bryce
American
Murray
brothers
did.
out.
B_score side. New Riff single barrel. Also the only
Nice.
bourbon he's had this month. So that's an easy one.
Good for you, Bryce.
See, Embellish Pod, John, Oliver, Voldemort, Hughes. How can I answer this?
Jaffa.
The month isn't over. And I messaged him back and he didn't respond. But I said, whatever's best so far, John.
John, you're not getting a baller flick today. Maybe next week.
You're not getting the old flick to the baller. Our friend Dramhound, this is dang near impossible to choose considering everything that was at Pours in the Park.
Oh, what a great week to decide what you had at best bourbon.
For strictly bourbon, it was either Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend Batch 92.
Nice.
The only bottle of it, or the Mayor Pengree 15-year blue label known as Caroline, which I want to say is Coraline.
Hey,
and then, of course, Connor from Who Gives a Dram, Bourbon with Friends, Connor Gilbert. Mellow Corn. Classic,
not bourbon.
Anyway,
Love it.
This week, what are we talking about? What's our whiskey we would choose?
So great responses this week, and we really appreciate everyone. But I want to hear, similarly, what is the best rye you've had in the last month? So Robby is looking through his collection right now, what did I drink over the last month in terms of ryes? But I know my answer.
I know my answer. I was
earlier, at least 30 days ago, I had Barrel Seagrass 16-year.
Nice.
Gray label. Great rye. So I'm going to go with that. That's my best rye I've had in the last month. Great rye.
I'm going to go with High West Rendezvous Rye. It might be one of my new favorite. It's my favorite American rye right now.
And when you put ice in it, it gets thicker in your mouth.
It gets thicker in your mouth.
When you put it in your mouth, it gets thicker.
It tastes like French fried potatoes. See, Adam went with Sam Elliott. I go with Sling Blade. When you put it in your mouth, it gets thicker.
So we haven't even mentioned. Robby and I haven't.
We haven't even talked. That's why I was trying to run over there real quick. What are we gonna drink next week, Cole?
So I'm feeling. Let me look through my.
Cole's got a feeling.
I have my.
See right there.
To drink.
I got a feeling tonight's gonna be a good night. That's where the '90s went to after that.
Yeah,
that's why the '90s were so much better. Yeah,
that's why the Black Eyed Peas.
Although I do like the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, totally.
I mean, like, I have no problem busting a move on the dance floor to the Black Eyed Peas.
So in 2 weeks, I want to be able to drink Russell's 13, but I haven't couriered you the Russell's 13 I got from Andrew Loudon yet.
Well, that'll do as well next week when we record, Cole. So thanks for bringing that up now.
What about a Scotch? What if we went between Dalmore 18 and Amrut Fusion? Amrut Fusion, for the record, if anyone calls me out, it's not a Scotch, but they're both single malts, and they're both classy.
I have been dying to drink both of them, so that sounds
Nice.
perfect.
So Dalmore 18 versus Amrut Fusion this week.
Perfect.
Single malts
Perfect.
with some peat. No, I'm sorry. Dalmore doesn't have peat. What am I saying? I don't even know what I was saying.
Is it peated?
Dalmore is not.
No,
peated.
Dalmore's not peated.
But
Amrut is.
Fusion is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So keep an eye out.
I just agree to everything you say.
Nah, that's all good.
I think there should be a supercut of every time Cole says something that he corrects himself on.
Totally.
Yeah, no, there could be a long supercut of me agreeing to everything you say, and you're like, "Oh wait, no, that wasn't right." I'm like, that's not right."
Bryce Marita on that. If you ever want to put together like every time Robbie's like, "Oh yeah, totally," and I got it wrong,
Oh yeah, and I agree to that too. I don't know, Cole. Actually, here's what you need to do: some episode, say something, and I'll just probably agree to it that you know is wrong, and then correct yourself, and then I go, "Oh yeah," and then correct yourself
or whiskey
again.
Is scotch, but scotch is not whiskey. No,
I love rectangles.
Yeah, quadrilaterals, man, and squares. So I hope that our listeners had a good time and can keep an eye out this week for the What Whiskey Would You Choose, as well as the 2-Pick Tuesday, because I am very intrigued what people would choose between Amrut Fusion and Dalmore 18.
And Cole, I hope your wife says, "Colsif, shave that head, brother. You got a beautiful shaped head."
And I hope that you never call my wife Hev again. No, I'm kidding.
But most of all, listeners, I hope Guar still does not attack you with urine and feces. But less importantly than that, I hope our love of spirits lifted yours. So you don't want to know where it's going next.